Hi dreamers, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Dream and this is my channel for chit chats, vlogs, talks, and lately just getting deeper into my faith with God, building that relationship with God. And I'm starting to just document just the things that I'm learning along my journey with seeking God and building that relationship. So yeah, I feel like now it's just more so faith talks and documenting verbally what I'm experiencing and what I'm learning along my journey. If that's something that's up your alley or something that intrigues you, I hope that you take the time to check my channel out and subscribe and to join me on my journey and join me on the journey we call life. As the title states, in this video we're going to be talking about the middle season and some deeper realizations that I've been having with the middle season. And we're also going to be talking about the void, because I feel like the void and the middle season are one and the same. And I mean the void in a lot of different ways, not even just like the literal void, but like the void in us, the void space that we have to be in sometimes to get to the next stage, whatever. And just the void that exists. I just want to talk about that all. But we're gonna start off with what is the middle season. Essentially, the middle season is the in-between place of what was and what's to come. Now, if you're someone who has prayed and asked for God for something, or something has died, or something is changing, and you're just in this transitional place and you don't know, you know what's next, or you know what could come, but you don't know for certain, you may be praying for like change in a lot of different areas in your life, and you're just in this space of change where things aren't quite the same as how they used to be, but at the same time you're not where you kind of envisioned your life to be, or you're not where you want to be, or where you thought to be, or where God called you to be, or where God promised you to be. And I can definitely personally say that I am in a middle season. And it's funny because last year, like a little bit earlier around this time, I felt like I was in a middle season. And I can say for like these past couple months, I thought that I was coming out of that middle season, or I had come out of that middle season, and that things were starting to come to fruition, and they were. But I kind of realized that I still am in the middle season, and I have been in the middle season for maybe even more than a year. Maybe I've been in the middle season for longer than I may have realized. But I can say there's also mini middle seasons, and then there's like the big life middle season. And I think that I'm starting to realize like the mini middle seasons all add up to the bigger middle season. Like for instance, the mini middle season could be, I'm like, last year, I can say for example, if you want to go back to like a couple of my videos, like I just turned 25 and I'm not where I thought I would be. And my waiting season, there was transitions that I was looking for. Like I was looking for some type of financial stability. I was looking for a car. I was looking for love and friendships and a relationship. And some of those things did come into fruition in different ways. But then at the same time, like some things ended and some things are transitioning into a different state. And I could look at it as like, okay, that's a mini middle season because it felt like I got to a wish fulfillment, but it ended again. But at the same time, that just means that I wasn't at the destination that I thought that I was going to be at, or I just wasn't at the destination, like the promises, like where I'm supposed to be, where it all aligns and where it comes into play. You know what I mean? Like that little mini season is still equating to the big middle season that I'm still currently in, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's so funny because I made this video last year, but I'm realizing like I went about that differently. And I also realized that that was very much at the beginning of my journey with God, and I still am in the beginning of my journey with God. Like it's been a year, but I'm further in. But at the same time, like I wasn't as grounded, or I just wasn't at the state that I am in right now, where I feel like my relationship with God is a lot deeper and he's strengthening my faith, especially right now. But like back then when I made that video, I was definitely like not referring to God as much as I should have. I kept saying other things when realistically just God. But the reason why I'm making this video is also because like I've been hearing it for a while. Like I finally went back to church, and I said this in like my last video, like I turned 26 and things are slowly but surely getting better. When I started to go to church, I started hearing a lot of messages that resonated with a lot of the things that I was already saying. Like when I first started to go back into church, I started hearing messages about the waiting season and how I was like hearing that exactly like how I was saying it in my video. And then just other things about like consecrating and how he builds you in different seasons, and you're going through the fire of change, of like character building, of strengthening, of faith testing. You're going through trials and tribulations, and it's all to get to a specific purpose. And I feel like the last few Sundays that I have like tuned into especially have been about the middle season and how to get through the middle season. I actually wish that I should have brought my mini notebook, because my mini notebook has like the sermons and different things that like my pastor and other pastors have been like talking about and giving like encouragement for, and how it helps, and like different words for it. Yeah, I think I'm more so here just to like document like my perspective on it and my experience with it. Last Sunday, like one of my other pastors, she was explaining it in such a way that was beautiful, where she was talking about like when specific shipments are like going through, and then there's like a strait that they have to get through, so it's like a big open area and you have to kind of like be careful, and you're like going through, the path is straight, easy, but then it gets narrow, and a lot of those big shipment boats, they have to like be very, very careful when going through, because in that strait, it's like it gets narrow, you're feeling pressure, it's a lot of like refinement that needs to happen, there's things that come, there's obstacles that come that you kind of just have to be careful of, but as soon as you get out of it and it becomes, you know, clear again, you know, the promise or the destination is on the other side. And the way that she was kind of explaining it and how to get through it, it was just like, okay, we're there, like I'm in that strait. And then my other pastor who was talking about it a few weeks ago, he was talking about how like you're going through your season, you know, you're in the airplane or you're in the boat, whichever way, because I also made another video about that, and if you watch that video, you know, it's the same example where you're pretty much in the pod that you're supposed to be in. However you're supposed to get to your destination is how you're going to get to your destination, whether it's a boat, whether it's a ship, whether it's a plane, whatever. But you're in it, and then storms will come, and storms can be trials and tribulations, storms can be testing of your faith, storms can be like, you know, testing of you, just everything that's in your life, to see like, are you going to continue to trust God even when things seem to be going good? Like, are you still going to trust him in that process, and are you still going to see him and love him and choose him, and are you going to have faith that like his will and his plan is perfect and better than you could have ever imagined? Are you going to trust that like he made the promises and he's going to fulfill the promises, even if it doesn't seem like it's coming, even if it feels like it's been taking forever, even if it feels like, okay, but God, you said this and then I'm seeing this or I'm experiencing this? Like, it really is like a testing season that I'm in. But even with that, I am starting to understand it more, and I can say like, you know, I still have been having my moments of doubt or having my moments of worry, but it's been I've been understanding it more, and it's been easier to handle, and it's not as much like as much of a deep pain as I can say it was this time last year when I made that video. And I feel like, you know, I've been having deeper realizations with it all. Like recently I was sitting with God, like, you know, I saw a video and it was just a reminder, like, sit with God in silence, like tune out the noise, because I said that in my last video too. Like one of my vices is I'll look for mad encouragement on YouTube. Like I'll just continue to just look and look and look, and it'll never really fulfill me. It's like a temporary encouragement, it's a temporary peace, it's a temporary faith, it's a temporary happiness, and then I'll leave it alone, and then I'll be back in the space that I've been avoiding. Okay, I'll be back in that space, and then I'll be sad again, I'll be stressing again, I'll be worrying again, like, oh, how is this gonna happen, how are things gonna happen, like when are things gonna allow, like align, you know, I'm tired of being in the space. Just that feelings, it just kept coming back. And then I would go back on YouTube or whatever platform that I could find some type of encouragement, because I also am in like not a full season of solitude, but I also know that God has put me in a place where I can only rely on him for all things, for encouragement, for, you know, faith, for talk, all of that. But regardless, like I would go onto YouTube and look for these things and just continue to have that void, but whole time I just needed to go to God. And I sat in that space and I realized that I've been avoiding going to that space, because I know that when I go into that space, God is going to be honest with me. He's going to pick things apart. He's going to reveal everything to me, and there's a high possibility that I'm going to hurt. And I can say like these past couple weeks have definitely, like the transitions and the changes, it definitely has been hurting me. Like it's been making me sad, it's been making me feel pain that, of course, I allow myself to feel it, but like in a healing process or in a waiting process, like sometimes you're just tired of feeling like you just want to be at the end of the tunnel where everything is okay, when you feel 100% okay, when you feel 100% healed, when everything works out, you know, when everything is just stable. Like when things are unstable, you just want to get to a place where you're stable again. So I kind of avoid, and I realized that, yeah, me avoiding was because I know that when I sit in that place, God is going to just give it all to me, and he's going to make me face what I don't want to face. And I sat in that space, and he brought up exactly what I thought he was going to bring up, but it was in such a peaceful and loving way that it was like, why have I been running? And he told me, he was like, you're avoiding the pain because you don't want to go through the process of the pain. And it's so funny because even to go back to that, because I know that I like jump a lot, but even to go back to that, I've been praying that I'm like, God, I understand everything that you've been telling me, but it's just so hard to actually put it into play. Can you please take away the pain? Like, I understand you have me in this season. I understand that you have me in this waiting season. I understand that you have been giving me confirmation of things. You've been telling me what to do and how to go about it. And it's like, I'm trying my best, but it's just so hard when it's so heavy and I'm feeling this pain. Can you just take it away? And he's like, the reason why, you know, you avoid it is because you don't want to face the pain. I can't take away the pain, but I'm going to be here with you through the pain. I'm not going to take away the pain, because the pain and everything that's happening right now in this season is building something in you, and it's also revealing something in you. So we sat and he told me that, and he had me face exactly what I didn't want to face. You know, of course I cried, but at the same time I felt held. And he was like, let's really like get into the nitty-gritty of things, because even in that last episode that I made, right, or that video that I made years ago, that I did end up making it private because I guess I felt embarrassed, because I think that video was just really long. And I also kind of was looking back, and as I was deepening my relationship with God, I felt really embarrassed, because I'm like, I'm sitting here giving encouragement to people, but I'm not even fully grounded in God. Like, who am I? Like, you know, that imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to tell somebody to hold the faith when I wasn't holding the faith? So I, you know, muted that. But the point that I'm making is, like, in that last video, I was pretty much saying that God doesn't want to give us anything prematurely, like us like beasting to get to a certain place. God doesn't want us to get into that place prematurely, because there's a lot of work that he has to do within us. Like, he has to uproot a lot of fears, worries, anxieties. He has to shape us, he has to strengthen us, he has to build certain habits or routines in us, especially for certain things that we want, because when we get it, he wants us to be prepared for it. And I said that in that video, where this pretty much the middle season is the preparation season. Like, it's not even the waiting season, it's being prepared to hold the things that we want, or being prepared to hold the promises of God, or being prepared to just hold the things that are destined for us regardless. And him giving it to us prematurely, we can fumble it or mess it up. And I feel like me being in that, remember how I just said that I feel like I finally got some of the things that I've been praying for? Everything that I said in that video, where if I wasn't fully ready, I would fumble it because I'd have the fears, the anxieties, the worries. Literally, I can say 50-50, that's exactly what happened. Energetically, I feel like that's exactly what happened, where God gave me the relationship, God gave me the friendships, even throughout that whole process, like from the beginning of it all coming into my life, and God just reminding me, like, you just need to be patient and you need to trust. You need to just trust me. You just need to trust me. You need to obey me. And we're, you know, that's another video actually. But I can say that there were so many moments throughout these past couple of months of me being in like a wish fulfillment state, where I finally had the people. I was terrified. I was terrified, and I may not have showed it, but like on the inside, I was always anxious. I was always anxious that things were going to happen exactly like how they happened in the past. I was always fearful and worrying that there was going to be disappointment. I was constantly questioning, like, are these people meant to be in my life? Even when God was like, yes, they're meant to be in your life, but energetically I wasn't trusting him. And like, even with like the friends, I would always question the intentions and be fearful, like, do these people actually mess with me? Like, literally the same feelings that I used to have in the past about old friendships, when these people have showed me nothing but intention and care, and just you know, the same effort that I'm putting in, and just showing that, you know, they're actually different from the people in the past. And the same with like the relationship that I was in. I'm being very authentic on here, but pretty much what I'm trying to say is, like, I had a lot of worries, I had a lot of questions, I had a lot of doubts, a lot of fears. I'd always be like nervous that something was gonna go wrong, and when something goes wrong, how was I gonna handle it? And when things went wrong, I went into a state where my inner child would take over, and she would kind of panic, and she would kind of, like, you know, be on the defense, and she would be hurting because she was terrified of that little girl. And like I said in that last video, that little girl just being back in that same space, being back in that disappointment, being back alone, being back in the season that I was prior to this happening. And God allowed that to happen, and he gave me grace on so many occasions. And you know, he told me to obey him in a lot of different ways, because there were still things that he needed to heal in me. And me obeying did, you know, have some things fall off later down the line of things, you know, of me being obedient. And you know, I'm still like, I give that to God, I surrender that to God. And even like with the friendships, because I know that everything is transitioning in such a way, I know that God is still saying, like, okay, this, but in a different way for right now, because right now I need you to come back home. I need you to come back to me so that we can get back, because I gave you it, and energetically this is what happened. And this is why I had you in the season that you were fighting so hard to get out of. And this is why I need you to come back into the space, because clearly you thought that you were ready. Clearly you thought that you had healed everything. Clearly you thought that you had the faith, but when it came, all of the gunk that you thought was done and out of you, that you've been praying for, to get out of you was still there. You weren't trusting me, you weren't relying on me, you weren't having faith in me. Okay, my camera was dying. I had to change that battery. But yeah, no, just the point that I'm making is like, he wasn't done with me when I thought that he was done. And you know what, he brought those things into my life to reveal that, and he brought me back into this place of isolation to reveal that even more. Because as soon as things changed, the first thing I thought was, this is exactly what I was afraid of. This is exactly what I meant. This is exactly why I worried. This is exactly why I feared. This is exactly why I had anxiety, because I feared this exact moment. But even in that moment, like, and this is another video that I want to get into, like me being completely honest with God and my feelings, because you know, it's never good to have resentment and a grudge. And I feel like a lot of us do have resentment and grudges, not only for people but for God, especially because we see God as our provider, we see God as our creator, we see God as our protector, we see God as, you know, the orchestrator of everything in our lives. And I think that's why so many people stray away from God, and I think that's why I strayed away from God. I think I said that in that video too, because you know, I expected and wanted life to go one way, but I was just shown different, and it just made me question God. And I think that's another reason why he brings these things up too, is to really test faith and to build faith. But going back to what I was saying with me being in that void state, or in that state like talking to God, he revealed that to me. And also he revealed it to me too, like by telling me to go watch your old videos. Like, you were feeling this exact same way. I want you to, 1, see your progress, and 2, see how much you've grown, and 3, see how you were feeling this exact same way last year, and see how maybe there's a reason why I had to take away these things and show you that, girl, you're not done yet. Like, you thought that you healed, you thought that, you know, it was like this, when all of that takes time. You're not done yet, and that's okay. So he told me that pretty much that I needed to sit there, and I'm sitting there and I'm like facing all of that, and I'm like realizing like, okay, yeah, like I did have a lot of fear, I had a lot of worry, and you know, it also kind of made me like kind of take a step back in who I was, just because I didn't want to mess things up and lose things, or things to go in the like way that they've gone before. And then he also was like, okay, so let's go even deeper, because we've talked about it before on what it could be that made us even like have these fears. Like, you know, I could always go to the root, and of course we could talk about like the parental pain. Hey, somebody's playing club music. We could talk about the parental pain, where we could talk about how some things lacked in our relationship with our parents. Like, it could definitely be that, but it was also because I've experienced so much disappointment in my life. You know, he brought that to the light too, with disappointment of, you know, love my mom. Like I said before, my mom is a single parent, and she was doing her best with what she had, and also with the space that she was in. Because just like I'm 26 now, my mom was 25, 26, feeling the exact same things, because she was a single parent. Like, if I'm feeling these things now, and I don't have a kid, and I'm not like experiencing that, I could only imagine what she was feeling at this age and having those realizations. Like, you know, she was doing the best that she could with what she had, but at the same time, like me being a kid, I obviously have these wants, needs, and desires, and I'm going to my parents for that. You know, I didn't have my dad, so I didn't get that from my dad. And then going to my mom, and she's doing her best. You know, she's financially holding it all together, doing everything by herself, because, you know, there's some family, but, you know, family can only do so much. But, well, that's another topic. You know, just me having these wants, desires, and hearing, sorry, I can't because I can't afford it, or sorry, I can't because, you know, for whatever reason, energy, sadness, depression, or not now, not yet, but later, and then it never happening. That takes a toll on a child. And even if that wasn't her intent, like, I've experienced disappointment since I was a little girl. Disappointment from my father, always expecting him to come back, and he never came back. Me always expecting that maybe he'll try this year and try to actually reach out, but him never saying happy birthday, him never reaching out, him never even taking the time of day to let me know, like, I'm sorry how I went about things, but I do love you and I do want to be in your life. But no, just continuing to have like a family, but we're not going to trauma dump, but just being honest and authentic on here. And then just having that constant disappointment, and then like praying for God to like be able to have certain experiences or have them again, and then it's just not coming to fruition. Like praying that my mom would be okay, praying that we would get out of this financial stump, and then just for it to repetitively just keep happening for all of my life. That takes a toll on your hope, bro. That takes a toll on your heart. That takes a toll on your wants and desires, because it makes you not even want to like want or desire anything ever again. Because, bro, what's the point if I know I'm not gonna get what I want, right? Like having that mindset. And he brought that to my realization, where I desperately fear having or wanting things, because I've been disappointed so much that I feel like even if I do get it, it's only something temporary, and I'm going to be back in that sad space. And yeah, like I'm afraid to even sit here and pray and want for things anymore, because just like this last experience, or just like the experiences in the past, I've prayed for something and I either didn't get it, or I got it in a different way, and then once again back in the loop where it feels like I'm lost, like I lost something, or I'm back in the same space. And then he had to bring that to my attention too, because he's like, you keep saying the same space, and what is the same space, and why are you trying to avoid it so much? And I realized it was the void, right? I have a void in my heart, and it's so funny because y'all, I'm gonna be so honest with y'all, okay? I did, okay, a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago, yeah, maybe 5-6 years ago, and every time after that experience, and every time that I would smoke, which is why I don't smoke now, I would have the same exact experience every single time, and it was pretty much like me connecting directly with God. And I was in a very anxious state at that point. I didn't really know what I know now, but every time I would always be told that I needed to die and I needed to go to the void. And I know that that was because parts of myself needed to die, and I needed to face the void. So he was like, you're afraid of the void still. You're afraid of the void. The void is you, the void is me, the void is us in unison, okay? The void is, bro, like, it's something that's always going to be here. Before death, after death, it's going to be here, even in the midst of life, okay? And it even goes back to what I was just talking about, like with the disappointment, but it's like that void has always been here. Like, even like I've said before, growing up a lonely child, growing up an only child, and then growing up not knowing really how to connect with people, because I've said that in old videos too, growing up lonely, there is a void that comes with that. Like feeling like you don't have your parents in the way that you need them, feeling like you don't have family in the way that you need them, and then not having friends on top of that, so it's just you and yourself. There's a void. And then he's like, okay, oh, yellow butterfly. He's like, okay, you have this void, but then it's like you avoid it so void, that's crazy. You avoid the void so much that you try to fill it with things that are never going to fill it. Like, for example, I said, just like, you know, at the beginning of this video, I'm gonna try to wrap this up quickly, okay? But my vices, YouTube, you know, movies, television, the reason why I clung to those things was because, and I know it sounds like such a sad thing, but it's just a reality. I know so many people do experience this reality, and it's not talked about enough, because, you know, we all see like family and connection out here, but there are people who are deeply lonely out here, and I am one of those people, and I have to express that. And also to show that journey, because God is going to heal that, and God is healing that. But I would cling to television, and I never realized why. I clung to television, one, because that was the easiest way to like take care of me when people don't have the energy or whatever it is. Put a kid in front of a TV. I have adapted that, and that is something that has become a comfort thing since I was a kid. But also getting on YouTube, and I'm hearing people's voices, I feel like I'm connecting with people. I'm watching videos of people playing together. I'm watching family vlogs of people like having beautiful families, and they're having kids and their husband, their wives, and I'm seeing these family dynamics that I didn't get to experience growing up. So I'm watching it with the hope, like, okay, maybe one day. Watching people play online with the hope that maybe one day, like, I'll have the group of friends, or I'll have like watching people and their best friends, and I'm like, maybe one day I'll have like the best friend where we do this and do that 24/7. Like, just filling that void with other people's lives through YouTube, through movies, you know, false realities, but what could be, you know what I'm saying? Like, just media, games, media. And it's something that I still go back to because it's a comfort thing, and as much as I try to bring it back. And then even Instagram, I stopped going on Instagram because Instagram is such a false way to feel connected, and I don't know if that's for everybody. I think that that's for me, just because I feel like so many people follow me but we don't interact. Like, what the hell is the point? You're sitting here watching me do it for what, bro? We don't talk, we don't do nothing. It just be no interaction. I feel like it's all just a false sense of connection that I have clung to because it felt the void temporarily, and knowing that the only way that I really needed the void to be felt was through actual experience of showing that things do change. But at the same time, I actually had to face it, and God sat me in that space, and he was like, you keep trying to avoid it. You keep trying to avoid the void, and you keep trying to fill it with people, you keep trying to fill it with experiences, you keep trying to fill it with media, you keep trying to fill it with false hope, false positivity. It's like I'm putting things into a void when a void is literally going to take everything and make it become nothing. That is not how you do that. Like, you cannot just put a person in a void and expect that like they're just gonna fill it. no, like that's not how that works. And God was bringing that to my awareness, where it's like all of these things that you're trying to do to fill the void, when all you have to do is literally face it, sit with it, be with it, embrace it, and be okay with it. Be okay with it, because there is a very, very high possibility, like from what I'm learning, I'm always going to come back to the space, even if I'm in the relationship. Because if I'm in the relationship, or if I'm in the friendship and I finally have the family and I have the kids, if I'm feeling this way now, I'm going to feel this way when I have everything, just like how I was feeling that way when I did have the things that I was praying for. Just like I'm still feeling this way with the car, just like I'm still feeling this way where I do have people that I can reach out to and talk to. I am still feeling this way. I still have the void. So it's like, okay, later down the line and I get the kids, what, am I going to repeat the same patterns because I'm not facing the void? I'm going to be sitting in front of a TV and having my kids sit in front of a TV and having them feel alone because I didn't face my own void, so I don't know how to help them to fill a void. I had to sit with it, and I had to realize that God is in that void and I am in that void, and I have to just be okay with hurting. I have to be okay with the silence. I have to be okay with the loneliness, and I have to be okay with the suffering, because I think that's another thing too. Like, I just didn't want to suffer. Nobody wants to suffer, but I was watching a couple videos and realizing like I'm getting touched by bugs. I gotta be okay with suffering, and you know, suffering is inherently good. Like, it's a symptom of life, as Willow Smith would say. Suffering is a symptom of life, and it's okay. It hurts, but it's not the end of the world, because if it was meant to end, I would have ended every time that I've prayed to go home, every time that I've begged to go home. Like, I'm meant to be here, I'm meant to experience what I'm experiencing, and the experiences, both good and bad, because I said that in that video too, and it's so funny how it comes full circle, and I don't even take my own advice sometimes, but you learn something even in the undesirable moments. You learn something even when things hurt. You learn something when things don't go as planned, or when things go bad, or when things when disappointment arises. Like, you learn something. And once again, in this space, I learned what I needed to learn. I've grown from it, like I said I would. I've grown from it. I've learned from it. I've experienced love. I've experienced what I needed to experience. I am just now getting to a space of acceptance for where I'm at, knowing that, yeah, things are going to change and things are going to get better, but maybe I don't need that right now, and that's okay. Maybe it is okay for me to be in this middle season for however long I need to be in, and maybe it's not even a middle season. I mean, it is, but like, maybe it's just, I just need to be here, and that's okay. And that's always been the word, but like, I think I had to have a deeper realization of it, because I think it was a bypassing. Okay, yeah, let me just be here. I'm here, so can I go? No, that's a bypassing. Like, no, I need to be here, and I need to fully embrace it. And you know, that's what my pastor was saying too. Take what you need to take from the season. And it's so funny, because I texted my cousin, you know, she hit me up, and I usually always I'm okay, I'm fine. But I was like, girl, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little sad, but like, I know my faith is being tested in the season, I'm okay. And she gave me mad scriptures. Love my cousin down, okay? It's funny because we're both like, not on the same journey, but similar journeys, because we kind of both fall in the same lineage when it comes to generational curse breaking. And I know she's a generational curse breaker, and so is her sister, in a different way. But I know that me and her, like, we have this connection where we both can see how things are, and we're like, nah, we want to do things differently for our kids, and we want to do things differently in our lives, period. But yeah, I love her down. She sent me some scriptures, and she also told me, and she was like, girl, pray and ask God to reveal what he's trying to show you in this season. Love my cousin down, because that's what my pastor said too, and that's exactly what it is. Like, God had to reveal that. I need to sit with it. I need to continue to face the void. I need to continue to face the pain. When the pain comes, it's okay. I need to continue to sit in the discomfort and the uncomfortable spot of being unstable. Like, you know what? Yeah, let me be in the boat. Let me be in the water. Let the water take me. And wherever the water is going, cool, bro. Like, at this point, cool. Let me just vibe with the water. Because at the end of the day, like, what if I, God forbid, God forbid. It's so funny how I'd be like, God, I want to go home. But then when I say something like this, I'm like, God forbid. But like, realistically speaking, like, anything could happen today, right? I could literally go home today, and this video would just be here. And maybe, like, I would hope that my mom would see this video and post this video on my channel. That's beside the point. But the point that I'm trying to make is that like I'll just sit here, because honestly, there's so much that I can experience here. There's so much that I can learn here. There's so much that I can grow from here. And I can still find joy in this. Like, me thinking that joy and happiness and my wish fulfillment was going to bring fulfillment in my life. And even though I knew that and still like forgot, is like, come on, bro. Like, God showed me where he was like, okay, you asked for things and I'm gonna give it to you. You feeling fulfilled? No. So now I'm realizing it's like, no, the prayer and the things is not what's going to bring the fulfillment. It's literally sitting with where you are now, being grateful for where you are now, sitting with God, connecting with God, and just trusting God and his plan. Like, bro, surrendering it all. And I know it's okay to have desires. God put the desires in my heart. And there's a couple scriptures that I want to put throughout this video because he's been putting them in my path for a reason. Like, I know it's safe for me to have the desires, and I know it's safe for me to like have them once again. But I have to be able to have them without fear and disappointment, and I have to be able to trust that in the right timing, like when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. And his time could be 10 years from now, his time could be tomorrow, his time could be next week, next month. It could literally just be anything. So what am I sitting here worrying and being so disappointed when I'm 26 years old? I'm not getting any younger. And I know that there was experiences that I wanted to have, but in some aspect, I can't control that. I can only control what I do. So I might as well sit in this, I might as well accept it, and I might as well enjoy what I can right now until change comes, because change is inevitably gonna come. I think this video is about 30 minutes. I tried, I really did. I prayed to have this video be 20 minutes long, but that's unrealistic. I need to get everything out, and like I always say, this video is gonna be for who it's meant to be for. And honestly, these videos would be for me. Like, just as much as I hope people are encouraged in a lot of the videos that I make, I encourage myself. Like, I literally went back to watch 2 of my old videos that I'm actually going to make public again, because I privated them because, like I said earlier, like, I was feeling embarrassed because I'm like, bro, who am I to be giving encouragement when I wasn't grounded in God? But this whole YouTube channel, my whole intent with this YouTube channel is literally to show my journey, to show my growth. So that makes it more authentic. I'm gonna post those back. I look crazy, I'm talking crazy, and yeah, you get to see the change, you can see the growth, the relationship, and the relationship that, like, you even get to see how God is real, because how he's changing me, how he's healing me, and how he's growing me, because you can see how I went from being spiritual and being, oh, the universe, oh, this, oh, ancestors, and not in a disrespectful way, but to me giving all credit and glory to God, because at the end of the day, all of that is under God. And I always knew that, but I think that I was so in the world at the time that I was like, God, yes, but at the same time, everybody is like naming these different things, so I wanted to kind of correlate for everybody else, but it's like, no, at the end of the day, it's God, like the creator, the most high, the source, God, okay? All of that lies under it, and you know, false idols. I'm gonna read 2 scriptures, I promise, okay? Maybe 3, because this video is like 30 minutes long, but it's okay. So I'm gonna read Psalms 139, verse 23 through 24, because I feel like this is how God brought me deeper into those realizations. But search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. He said, girl, yeah, you have an anxious heart, and this is why. Your fear of disappointment. And I even said that in the uncertainty video, y'all. Look, go back and watch my videos, okay? It all connects. But yeah, we're gonna do John 16 verse 22, 23, and 24. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do John 16 verse 20 through 24. And Jesus said that to his disciples. I have to actually read John and Matthew's. I was going in chronological order, but I don't think I'm gonna be doing that anymore. But anyways, very truly I tell you, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will turn to joy. A woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come. But when her baby is born, she forgets the anguish because of her joy that a child is born into the world. So with you, now is your time of grief, but I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. In that day, you will no longer ask me anything. Very truly I tell you, my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Until now, you have not asked for anything in my name. Ask and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. And I think that that is literally the perfect verse for this video, okay? The perfect verse for this video. But yeah, just gonna end it with that, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching. These bugs. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I hope and pray this video encouraged you in some way or form. I pray that if you do feel the same ways that I feel, that this helps you to feel not alone, and that this helps you to embrace where you are, help you to embrace the pain, and help you to embrace the season, and help you to go to God and and learn to feel safe with God and to be able to trust him again. Like, I really pray that you can go back home if you are not home, and if you are already going back home, I just pray that you are also learning to trust him more again and not fearing disappointment and just trusting God's plan. I love you, God loves you more, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye. The last thing I will say, okay, if you like me, because this is something that God has been telling me and I'm trying to work on for real, stop looking at any more encouragement videos. Actually, no, start trusting. Just start trusting. Just start trusting. Like, you don't even need the encouragement video. You don't need the confirmation. God already confirmed it. God already said it is. God already said it's done. Just sit where you're at. Just sit where you're at and feel it. Even when you feel the low, even when you feel discouraged, sit with it and feel it, and then bring it to God and lean on God. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.